From City Hall, Ward 7, I am your Councilwoman Nikki Nice, and joining me today, we're talking all about our Oklahoma City Fire Department, the need for diversity, and just overall the history and the excellence that Oklahoma City Fire Department brings. And with us this afternoon to join us is Major Tink Collins, and we appreciate you for talking with us today about the fire department and the need for diversity and just your background in general. And from just my research, I understand that the Oklahoma City Fire Department was formed in 1889, and then they were protecting less than 1,000 residents. But now we look at nearly 1,000 officers, firefighters, working in about 36 strategically serving more than 600,000 residents over our 621 square miles. So, you know, becoming an officer, talk about your experience and even why you decided to be a part of the Oklahoma City Fire Department.
All right, well, thank you for having me, first of all. With all those questions, I've always, in the back of my mind, liked being a service to people. And so, you know, with my background, being team-oriented, being an athlete, this just kind of went hand in hand. That's what we do on a day-to-day basis. Basically, people are in need 9 times out of 10. I love helping people, whether it's a car wreck or a fire. You know, we have a gamut of calls that we run. Then depending on what station you run, you know, that dictates what kind of calls you make.
Well, now that you say that, now you piqued my interest. What has been probably one of your most memorable reports that you had to go out and, you know, report or be at the scene of?
Well, it's pretty diverse. You know, I've made some pretty bad car wrecks. You know, rush hour around here gets pretty hectic. Usually on Thursday, Friday nights, depending on what district you're in, your location. You know, you have people that, you know, drink and drive, unfortunately. You make those car wrecks, those are pretty bad. And then just some structure fires that I've made. You know, there's about probably about 10 years ago or so, give or take, probably a little bit more than that. The 2 guys that set the fires on the apartments down south, one was off of Drexel, and I think the other one was off of Western. You know, it was a fatality in that, but that was probably the biggest structure fire that I've made because several units burnt up then.
Wow. Well, when we're looking at obviously the department in itself, there are so many different divisions that are encompassed with the Oklahoma City Fire Department. Can you just kind of talk about what they are and how we can support those services?
Right. Yes. A lot of people ask those questions. You know, the glitz and the glamour is the guys on the fire truck putting the wet stuff on the red stuff. But we also have, you know, code. We have investigation. We have public education, which goes out to a lot of our schools, our elementary schools, and talk about, you know, safety. You know, we have Operation Edith, which is exit drills in the home, you know, in case there's a fire, have strategic plans, meeting places and stuff like that. Those are really good programs for kids and stuff. We have a fire or smoke detector program. People don't know, or they're starting to know a little bit more, that we give out free smoke detectors if you're in the Oklahoma City area. All you have to do is call that number. We have an English version and we have a Spanish version. Give us your location, and up to code is every smoke detector. If you have a room, bedroom, kitchen, living area, we will put a smoke detector free at no charge.
And these aren't the ones with batteries, because you guys have the newer digital type of smoke detectors, correct?
Well, some are, but they have the lithium batteries, which are the 10-year batteries. So at some point, when we put them up, we tell them, you know, still, I mean, it's man-made, it's a battery. We tell them to check every 6 months, just like, you know, in the spring or something like that, because they could malfunction or something like that. But now they're moving toward the lithium batteries where they don't have to check them as often.
Well, that's awesome. Well, even when we're looking at that, obviously we know we all need to make sure our smoke detectors are working and not take that battery out when we're cooking and it starts to smoke in our homes, but obviously to make sure it's working all the time. And I understand also there's a Citizens Fire Academy that we can be involved and engaged in as well.
Yes. Every so often they have a Citizens Academy. What they do is they learn, you know, day-to-day life of firefighting. they get to try on bunker gear. They get to go out to some of the stations. Some of the stations come out to the drill grounds and they put up the rescue ladder and hook the engine up to one of the fire hydrants and, pump water to it and just let them show. And just to see, and some of the things that we do, and a lot of people know that those hoses are really light, but once they get that water through them, that GPM's flowing, they're really heavy.
Can we put the suit on?
Yeah.
Okay, we can put the suit on.
Yes, come by, we'll get you hooked up.
I can't wait to do that. Now, we're talking about minority recruitment, and this is a new role for you as far as making sure we have minority recruitment. I think if we look in history for the Oklahoma City Fire Department, we're looking at the original 12 that a lot of people may not know about, but they were hired in 1951, being Oklahoma City's first black firefighters. And I think if we put this in specifics, this was literally 3 years before the Supreme Court of Brown versus Board of Education, and this was also 7 years before the CATS sit-in drugstore when they did the sit-in at the drugstore.
Correct.
So basically, by 1959, when we had these firefighters serving in 6 integrated fire stations, that made a lot of history with them being about, I think at the height, 100 being with the department. And now what are we looking at when we're looking at numbers for minority recruitment?
Well, for minority recruitments, numbers are down. On our whole fire department, we have 50 African American firefighters. One of the reasons why my job came about is the city recognizes that we need to reflect the city. Our department needs to reflect the city and their demographics. And so we're making a subconscious effort, putting the emphasis on minorities. Not only that, we only have 1 black female. So we're focusing on those areas too. But at the same time, diversity and inclusion is really, hitting hard at a lot of communities. It's nationwide. But also foster, the fire department has a lot of nepotism. And, a lot of that is, our Caucasian firefighters, and basically still foster that, but still recognize that, in the city, 53% are women, 53% are Hispanic. And so we need to start trying to make a subconscious effort to get more qualified people and more diverse in our department.
Well, when we're looking at that, and you mentioned we have 1 female black firefighter right now. She's only the second since its inception of 1889. So, and she's currently serving.
Right.
So what are some of those, I guess, maybe barriers that we're looking at when it comes to minorities or even women not being a part of the application process or being applicants for to become a firefighter?
It's tough for women just because, I say I'm a male, the physical aspect of it. We do try to introduce, the physical part of it. We have Camp Inferno, which is an all-female camp to kind of get them used to what it's like I said, on a day-to-day basis. That bunker gear, fully bunked out, it's, anywhere from 45 to 65 extra pounds. Wow. So, just getting used to that. And then, just some of the tools and stuff are pretty heavy. So we try to combat that. We try to go to like the CrossFit gyms and stuff like that. Women that are in shape, males that are in shape, to try to get what we call a better, qualified applicant.
But do you have to be in shape?
Yes, you do.
Oh.
Okay, at some point you have to make a subconscious effort to be in shape, because we have what they call a CPAT. It's a candidate physicals abilities test, and it's really tough. I mean, it stretches you. It has about 8 different exercises that simulates fireground simulation stuff, and it's, you have to complete the course to actually, it's one of the steps in our hiring process.
Well, I know and understand that our current chief, Chief Kelly, who's been serving since September of 2017, he felt that it was important to have this role of minority recruitment, and also other officers like yourself felt it was important to have this minority recruitment. So application process has begun. So what are we looking at as far as requirements?
Okay, requirements, we've actually started, we've revamped. That was one of the deals that when I came down to streamline our application process a little bit better. When I got down here, we had the old packet, the big packet where everybody had to fill out, come down to our administration. But now we have what we call NeoGov. It's an online application. And all you have to have, minimum requirement is your GED or equivalent, high school diploma or transcript, and a valid driver's license. That will get you to the written exam process. So that's just a minimum requirement that you have to have. Now, if you do have your EMT, you went to EOC, which you can get a fire program, you know, your certifications, your firefighter 1, your firefighter 2, your EMT, that helps you, but it's not all the be all. You know, when I came on, I didn't have those, but it just helps in the process if you do have those.
All right, so we talked about the physical requirements. We have working requirements. So what will you be subjected to?
So the first is, like I said, the online process. The second step is the written, okay? And then we have the CPAT, the Candidate Physical Abilities Test. And then after that, we have an interview. It's a panel of 3. It could be a station officer, it could be a chief. They give you random questions. There's upstairs and a downstairs. There's a panel of 3. And then once you pass that, you go to what we call a background or polygraph test. We opened up the process. It's going to be nationwide now, so we had to do open up our background process. HireRight is the background check, so it checks nationwide your background. So, you know, just like being on the police department, fire department, we don't want any criminals on the department, so we have to check that. And then the polygraph test, you know, just asking you random questions to see what kind of citizen you are.
All right. Now, we're looking at benefits, really good benefits working for the city of Oklahoma City. So what can we look at as far as becoming an officer with the Oklahoma City Fire Department?
What you can look at is, like you said, I mean, it's the great benefits, you know, something that you can take care of your family, you know, you can be secure, but also the benefits of being on the fire department. Say if, you know, I was telling you about one of the requirements is you just have to have a GED or equivalent. So if you decided to go back to school, the city is really good about compensating you or allowing you to try to better yourself. And so you can they will pay you $1,250 a semester, $1,250 a semester. All you have to do is maintain a C average, and they will pay for that schooling for you. And that's any degree that you want to get. So they are really good about giving you incentive pay. You know, if you have a college degree, you have so many hours. If you have a bachelor's, they will pay you $100 a month. So that's $1,200 roughly a year because you have a college degree.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that working for the city, you can obviously continue your education and they'll pay you for it.
Oh,
so
yes.
that's a great incentive to have when you're looking at the demographics and even the need to have these officers or firefighters to become a part of the Oklahoma City Fire Department. Now, I will ask if you can give us the information for people to go to the website. How can we find out more?
You can go to www.joinokcfire.com or just go to the okc.gov. There's some links that you can click on, some hyperlinks that you can click on and to get some information on our website. The first one that I gave you, you can also click on it and it tells you steps in the hiring process. It gives you a profile of basically what the description of what it entails, a posting of a job description of a firefighter.
All right, and right now, again, we're open for applications, so we need everyone that can apply to do it. Is there a deadline, or when is the normal recruit class? So
we started, our process is long. We started January 1 with the hiring process. This hiring process will stay open till February 28th. Was our hiring process. From then, like I said, we'll take all our applicants. There's a process into doing that, and then once that, probably late March, early April, we'll do the testing for the written test. But all in all, the process takes about 7 to 8 months when they'll give you a conditional job offer.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, Major Collins, for talking about the Oklahoma City Fire Department. And again, the applications are currently open. So if you need more information, you can also head on over to our website. It is okc.gov. And that is our episode of City Hall from Ward 7. And I'm your Councilwoman, Nikki Nice. See you next time.